So the other day, I'm sitting on my couch at home enjoying one of my few days on earth where I don't have to be at work. And then Netflix, doing its Netflix thing, recommends me a show. Hajime no Ippo. Now, I've watched the show before, but it just has never gotten that stardom that I believe that it needs to have. The first thing that you would have noticed is that it's a sports anime, and I know sports animes always receive a certain level of judgment from anime fans. It's most likely because the Venn diagram of people who watch anime and the people who watch or partake in sports usually doesn't cross over. But this show exceeds more than just being about sports, and at the end of the day, a good sports anime is a good anime nonetheless. The one thing that really makes this show stand out is its main character, Makonochi Ippo. Starting out as nothing more than a shy and timid schoolboy, consistently bullied throughout his life, the way he grows and develops throughout the show really emphasizes the key points that the show wants to portray. At the end of the day, there's nothing special about Ippo. He's not born with anything amazing, he's quite small, he's not even particularly good at boxing at the start. And even the one thing that really makes him stand out, his immense punching power, comes from the fact that he was consistently slaving away at his mum's business. And even as he joined boxing, he didn't join it so that he can overcome these bullies that have plagued him. He didn't join it so he can come back and show people how much better he is than them. He didn't join boxing to fulfill the typical anime trope of wanting to become the strongest or wanting to protect the people around him. At the end of the day, he started boxing because he didn't like who he was and he wanted to wake up as a better person the next day. And that's what makes Ippo stand out so much, particularly within anime, where the general protagonist ends up wanting to become the Hokage of something or the most strongest person of planet something. It's nice to find a character who has easily identifiable goals that we can connect to and makes us feel like if we were to have the same determination, we could reach these goals as well. Ippo's lack of specialness is what makes him so special. The author uses Ippo's character to teach us this lesson and to encourage us to go on our own journeys in life. This anime also uses the narration style to teach us another important lesson. Through every single match that Ippo has, they tend to follow the same general trajectory. There's a build-up for the fight, and then the fight happens. However, in most animes you would see that the build-up is focused mainly on just the protagonist and the protagonist's view of life and his perspective. However, in Hajime no Ippo, the author gives us an in-depth view into the lives of the opposition that Ippo will go up against. Throughout the build-up process, the other boxer is shown the way they train, the way they eat, what they do, the things that motivate them, the same way that we see what Ippo goes through. This build-up means that by the time Ippo is standing in front of his opposition in the boxing ring on match day, we know that opposition just as well as we know Ippo. And this allows us to understand the key perspective in life, that not everything is so black and white. Not everything is so wrong and right. There aren't always bad guys and good guys. Even though the person that Ippo is standing in front of wants to defeat him, Ippo understands that that person has just as much right to win this match as he does, and the only thing that separates them is their hard work. And if Ippo really wants to win this match, he has to earn it, the same way that the person standing in front of them has had to work hard to get to this point. This was particularly important to me. When I saw this anime, I was at a stage in my life where I felt like nothing was really going for me, and I felt just lost. And to have this lesson taught to me where if I really want something, I have to go out there and I have to earn it myself and I have to work hard. It gave me the kind of perspective I needed in life to go out there and make what I wanted of myself. But I know what you're probably wondering. How good is this show at actually boxing? Well, you should know that the author of the anime actually himself was a boxer and he was involved in the boxing world a lot. And even from when he was a little kid, he was getting into fights, even within his school exams. And you can see that his time within the boxing world really influences his designs. This anime starts you from the very beginning, just like Ippo, as a pure novelist, and the techniques behind some of the most famous boxing styles. However, you're not watching this show to become the world's best boxer. You're watching the show to be entertained. And trust me, you will be entertained. These boxing matches are some of the best fights I have ever seen in anime. In the anime sphere, we're usually used to people flying in the sky, using magic and all kinds of techniques in fights and illustrations of things we could have never imagined in our lives. But there's no better word to describe the fights in this anime than entrancing. As you watch them, you just can't stop watching. One of the key aspects that Madhouse uses during the animation process to make this show so entrancing is slowing down time. In almost all of the matches, either to build up suspense regarding whether or not a punch will be a finishing blow or if the punch will connect at all, frequently being followed by a unexpected counterpunch. Or the slow down time is also used as a method of allowing us to see what's going on in the minds of these boxers, by giving us an insight into the mental framework that these boxers are going through during the match. This transforms what would have been a simple exchange of fists into a strategic battlefield, where each boxer is consistently shifting and changing their ideas and their concepts in their head in order to get the upper hand. And this creates a perfect symphony of visuals on our screen that just won't allow us to tear our eyes away from it. The one thing that really makes this show stand out is its supporting cast. In most anime, the supporting cast is usually there either to be a direct competitor towards the protagonist or to be there as a guiding force to push the protagonist towards a particular route. However, in Hajime-no-Ippo, all of the other supporting cast members are in different weight classes and they have different goals to Ippo, so they never become a direct competitor towards him. And this unifies them under this goal of self-improvement. At the start of the show, the supporting cast are more in the background and we don't get to know that much about them until later on. But as the show carries on, their character blooms and their personality comes out. And we start to root for them just as much as we root for Ippo. The connection with this supporting cast is slightly different, because unlike with Ippo, we don't know if they're going to win or lose. And this makes their matches even more intense. Unlike Ippo, who's at the start of his journey and has his whole life of boxing ahead of him, most of the other casts like Aoki and Kumura are reaching the point in their career where they either start to become something amazing or it's time to hang up the gloves. And this is beautifully juxtaposed by the brilliance of Takamura, someone who is just brilliant at boxing in every way possible. And we start to relate with characters like Aoki because we can all understand that feeling of trying for so many years and still not seeing the success that you thought you could. And seeing the people ahead of you performing so much better and the people behind you quickly catching up to you. One pothole that most animes fall into is creating characters that are so one-dimensional. Characters that are there only to fulfill one purpose and one purpose alone, whether that be eye candy or to be the strongest or to be a competitor. And that's it. They don't ever become anything more than that one goal that the author set for them. But in Hajime-no-Ippo, each character is diverse. Each character has multiple goals in their life. They're never limited to simply having one thing that they want. And they're never portrayed as characters that have no faults or that are perfectly good people. The fact that they have these good and bad things about their character and the nuance and the depth that their characters have is what makes them so memorable long after the show has ended. And with that is the end of this video, guys. I really enjoyed making this. Hajime-no-Ippo is one of my top 3 favorite animes ever. If you guys have seen this anime before or this has intrigued you to watch it, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. I'm going to make a few more videos about different animes that I really like and I hope you guys are going to enjoy them too. And if you don't mind, if you really did like the video, I'd love if you could like and subscribe and leave a comment as well.